This presentation is provided by National Seafarers Academy and is designed for mariners studying for their U.S. Merchant Mariner Credential, which is also known as a U.S. Coast Guard license.
This lesson will cover navigation aids approved by the International Association of Lighthouse Authorities and adopted by the Coast Guard for U.S. waterways.
Navigation aids are sometimes called TANs or nav aids. Navigation aids are placed on shore or on marine sites to assist navigators in determining their position or safe course.
Navigation aids may mark limits of navigable channels, or warn of dangers or obstructions to navigation. The primary components of the U.S. Aids to Navigation system are beacons and buoys. In this lesson we will define navigation aids as any device external to a vessel intended to assist a navigator to determine their position, safe course, or to warn of dangers or obstructions to navigation.
Buoys are floating aids to navigation used extensively throughout U.S. waters. They may be lighted or unlighted.
They are moored to the seabed by sinkers with chain or other moorings of various lengths.
Buoy moorings vary in length. The mooring lengths define a watch circle, and buoys can be expected to move within this circle.
Buoy positions represented on nautical charts are approximate positions only, due to the practical limitations of positioning and maintaining buoys and their sinkers in precise geographical locations. Mariners attempting to pass a buoy close aboard risk collision with a yawing buoy or with the obstruction, which the buoy marks.
Mariners must not rely on buoys alone for determining their positions due to factors limiting buoy reliability. Prudent mariners will use bearings or angles from beacons or other landmarks, soundings, and various methods of electronic navigation. Beacons are aids to navigation which are permanently fixed to the Earth's surface.
Lighted beacons are called lights. Unlighted beacons are called day beacons.
Lights range from large lighthouses to small single-pile structures and may be located on land or in the water. Beacons exhibit a day mark.
Generally, the day mark conveys to the mariner, during daylight hours, the same significance as does the aid's light or reflector at night. Vessels should not pass fixed aids to navigation close aboard due to the danger of collision with riprap, structure foundations, the obstruction or danger being marked.
The daytime identifier of an aid to navigation presenting one of several colors, shapes, numerals or letters.
Day mark shapes are square, triangle, rectangle, diamond or octagon. Top marks are on the top of buoys.
Lateral marks are buoys or beacons indicating the port and starboard sides of a route to be followed, and are used in conjunction with the conventional direction of voyage.
Generally, lateral aids to navigation indicate on which side of a vessel an aid to navigation should be passed when the vessel is proceeding in the conventional direction of voyage.
Normally, the conventional direction of voyage is the direction in which a vessel enters navigable channels from seaward and proceeds towards the head of navigation. In the absence of a route leading from seaward such as in coastal navigation, the conventional direction of voyage generally follows a clockwise direction around land masses.
If you travel in the direction of the blue arrows you are considered returning from sea.
The ICW runs from Montisquia, New Jersey to Brownsville, Texas.
Proceeding southerly along the Atlantic coast, from Florida to Texas along the Gulf Coast are considered as proceeding in the conventional direction of voyage.
In some instances, this direction must be arbitrarily assigned. Where doubt exists, the mariner should consult charts and other nautical publications.
If you travel in the direction of the yellow arrows you are considered returning from sea.
The navigable waters of the United States are marked to assist navigation using the U.S. Aids to Navigation system,
which is consistent with the International Association of Marine Aids to Navigation and Lighthouse Authorities (IILA) Maritime Voyage System.
IILA voyage is divided into two regions made up of Region A and Region B.
Most navigable waters of the United States follow IILA Region B.
The U.S. Aids to Navigation system is primarily a lateral system which employs a simple arrangement of colors, shapes, numbers, and light characteristics to mark the limits of navigable routes.
This lateral system is supplemented by non-lateral aids to navigation where appropriate.
In Region B we can use the memory aid red, right, return.
That is, keep red navigation aids on the right-hand side, starboard side, when returning from sea.
Additional memory aids gives us
REN. REN stands for red color, even numbers and none-shaped navigation aids. GOC. GOC stands for green color, odd numbers, and can-shaped navigation aids.
Navigation systems. We will now cover the 3 navigation marking systems.
1. The lateral system, which is the main U.S. navigation marking system. 2. The coastal navigation aids. 3. The intracoastal waterway system.
We will first look at lateral buoys.
Virtually all U.S. lateral marks are located in IALA Region B and follow the traditional red, right, returning rule.
U.S. lateral aids to navigation at certain Pacific islands are located within IALA Region A and thus exhibit opposite color significance. Lateral aids or marks indicate the sides and center of the channel. Again, the U.S. is in Region B, so we use the red, right, return method.
So when we return from sea, the red navigation aids will be on our right or starboard side, and the green navigation aids will be on our left or port side.
In order to provide easy identification, certain unlighted buoys and dayboards on beacons are differentiated by shape. These shapes are laterally significant only when associated with laterally significant colors.
Cylindrical buoys, referred to as can buoys, and square dayboards mark the left side of a channel when proceeding from seaward. Conical buoys, referred to as nun buoys, and triangular dayboards mark the right side of the channel when proceeding from seaward.
Starboard lateral marks have the following characteristics.
The color is red. The numbering will be even numbers. The shape are nuns or triangles. If there is a light or reflection, it will be red.
Port lateral marks have the following characteristics.
The color is green. The numbering will be odd numbers. The shape are cans or squares. And, if there is a light or reflection, it will be green.
All solid red and solid green aids to navigation are numbered, with red aids bearing even numbers and green aids bearing odd numbers.
The numbers for each increase from seaward, proceeding in the conventional direction of voyage.
Numbers are kept in approximate sequence on both sides of the channel by omitting numbers where necessary. Letters may be used to augment numbers when lateral aids to navigation are added to channels with previously completed numerical sequences.
Letters will increase in alphabetical order from seaward, proceeding in the conventional direction of voyage, and are added to numbers as suffixes.
No other aids to navigation are numbered.
Preferred channel, safe water, isolated danger, special marks, and information and regulatory aids to navigation may be lettered, but not numbered.
In summary, when returning from sea, the numbers on navigation aids will increase.
That is, the numbers will go up.
Unlighted red buoys are red in color, even numbered, and are nun-shaped.
On a nautical chart, unlighted buoys have a small, open, black circle with a red diamond flare. In this case, the color of the buoy is given in the label, R equals red, and it is the number 6 buoy.
Most aids to navigation are fitted with retroreflective material to increase their visibility in darkness.
The reflected color will be the same color as if the navigation aid was lighted.
Lighted red buoys are red in color, even numbered, and are nun-shaped, and have a red light on top.
On a nautical chart, lighted buoys have a small magenta-colored dot with a red diamond flare. The color of the buoy is given in the label, R equals red, and it is the number 2 buoy with all flashing red light, with a 4-second interval. The light characteristics can be a flashing group, flashing, occulting, quick flashing, or isophase.
Sometimes there is a meaning to the light characteristic, such as a quick flashing light, which indicates a turn in the channel. Unlighted green buoys are green in color, odd numbered, and are can-shaped.
On a nautical chart, unlighted buoys have a small, open, black circle with a green diamond flare. In this case, the color of the buoy is given in the label, G equals green, and it is a can-shaped, number 1 buoy.
Most aids to navigation are fitted with retroreflective material to increase their visibility in darkness.
The reflected color will be the same color as if the navigation aid was lighted.
Lighted green buoys are green in color, odd-numbered, and are can-shaped.
On a nautical chart, green lighted buoys have a small magenta dot with a green diamond flare. In this case, the color of the buoy is given in the label, G equals green, with a flashing green light, with a 4-second interval. The light characteristics can be a flashing group, flashing, occulting, quick flashing, or isophase.
Sometimes there is a meaning to the light characteristic, such as a quick flashing light, which indicates a turn in the channel. Beacons are unlighted navigation aids, and sometimes called day beacons.
They are indicated on a chart by a green square or red triangle. You may see beacons on land or in shallow waters on poles.
Lighted beacons are just called lights.
Lighted fixed navigation aids are indicated on a chart by a symbol that resembles an exclamation mark. The solid black dot indicates the actual position. Magenta teardrop flare indicates it is a light.
Most lighted aids to navigation are equipped with controls, which automatically cause the light to operate during darkness and to be extinguished during daylight.
These devices are not of equal sensitivity. Therefore all lights do not come on or go off at the same time.
The lighting apparatus is serviced at periodic intervals to assure reliable operation.
But there is always the possibility of a light being extinguished or operating improperly.
Always check the characteristics of lights so powerful lights, visible in the distance, are not mistaken for nearby navigation lights. Characteristics of lights are printed next to the light symbol on the nautical chart.
The FL indicated a flashing light. Colors are indicated by the letters G, green, R, red, Y, yellow, and W, white. The light pattern of 6 seconds means the light has a 6-second interval.
The height of the aid is given in feet above mean high tide.
In this case it is 15 feet above mean high tide.
The nominal range of the aid is given for 10 nautical miles of visibility.
In this case the nominal range of the light is 7 nautical miles.
The condition of the atmosphere has a considerable effect upon the distance at which lights can be seen.
Sometimes lights are obscured by fog, haze, dust, smoke, or precipitation which may be present at the light, or between the light and the observer.
Also, atmospheric refraction may cause a light to be seen farther than under ordinary circumstances. Preferred channel marks are aids to navigation, which mark channel junctions or bifurcations.
That is a Y in the channel.
And often mark wrecks or obstructions. Preferred channel marks may normally be passed on either side by a vessel.
They indicate to the mariner the preferred channel or main channel.
Preferred channel marks have the following characteristics. Colors are red and green horizontally banded.
The uppermost band designates the preferred channel.
Shapes are can or none-shaped.
The shape designates the preferred channel.
The letter character colors are as follows.
On dayboards the topmost color designates the color of the letter. On buoys the lettering is always white. If lighted the color is always the same as uppermost band.
Light characteristics are always
composite group flashing 2+1.
Preferred channel marks may be lettered. Non-lateral marks have no lateral significance, but may be used to supplement the lateral aids to navigation specified above.
Occasionally, day beacons or minor lights outside of the normal channel will not have lateral significance, since they do not define limits to navigable waters.
Safe water marks, also called mid-channel markers, are used to mark fairways, mid-channels, and offshore approach points.
They indicate that there is unobstructed water on all sides.
They can also be used by the mariner transiting offshore waters to identify the proximity of intended landfall.
Safe water marks are red and white striped and have a red spherical top mark to further aid in identification. If lighted, they display a white light with the characteristic Morse code A.
Safe water markers
Are normally passed as if they mark the center of the channel.
Safe water markers have the following characteristics on a nautical chart.
The color of the buoy is given in the label, RW, which stands for red. White. They may be lettered, but not numbered.
Special marks are not primarily intended to assist safe navigation, but to indicate special areas or features referred to on charts or in other nautical publications.
The feature should be described in a nautical document such as a chart, light list, coast pilot or notice to mariner.
Some areas that may be marked by these aids to navigation are spoil areas, pipelines, traffic separation schemes, jetties, military exercise areas, or data gathering. Special marks are
yellow in color and, if lighted, display a yellow light. The light characteristic can be fixed or flashing, but cannot be quick flashing or composite group flashing.
Yellow lights have no lateral significance. Information and regulatory marks are used to alert the mariner to various warnings or regulatory matters.
They may indicate areas of no-wake zones, barge mooring areas, wing dams on rivers, rocky areas, and swimming beaches.
Information and regulatory marks have the following characteristics.
They are white buoys with an orange band or border. They are square or diamond-shaped. The letter characters are black and usually words. They may have a white light of any characteristics not otherwise reserved.
White lights have no lateral significance. These marks have orange geometric shapes against the white background, and warnings, instructions, or explanations may be shown within the shapes.
The meanings associated with the orange shapes are as follows. An open-faced diamond signifies danger. A vertical diamond shape having a cross centered within indicates that vessels are excluded from the marked area. A circular shape indicates that certain operating restrictions are in effect within the marked area.
Information and regulatory marks have the following characteristics on a nautical chart.
The color of the buoy is given in the label, WOR, which stands for white and orange banded. C signifies a can shape, and A is the name of the aid.
Isolated danger marks are erected on, moored over, or placed immediately adjacent to an isolated danger that may be passed on all sides.
These marks should not be approached closely without special caution.
Isolated danger marks are
colored with black and red bands, and if lighted, display a group flashing of 2 flashes with a white light.
A top mark consisting of 2 black spheres, one above the other. Coastal navigation aids. Conventional direction of voyage for coastal waters. The purpose is to identify how aids should be passed in areas other than channels from sea.
If you follow the blue arrows, you are considered returning from sea, and red navigation aids will be on your starboard side, and green navigation aids will be on your port side.
Intracoastal waterway system navigation aids. The intracoastal waterway runs parallel to the Atlantic and Gulf coasts from Montesquieu Inlet, New Jersey to Brownsville, Texas.
Aids to navigation marking the ICW have some portion of them marked with yellow. Otherwise, the coloring and numbering of the aids to navigation follow the same system as that in other U.S. waterways.
In order that vessels may readily follow the ICW route, special markings are employed. These marks consist of a yellow square and yellow triangle and indicate which side the aid to navigation should be passed when following the conventional direction of voyage.
The yellow arrows indicate returning from sea.
Intracoastal waterway system differs from the U.S. marking system, in that ICW aids show distinctive identifying symbols.
ICW starboard marks are yellow triangles and indicates that the aid should be kept on the right side. ICW port marks are yellow squares and indicate that the aid should be kept on the left side. A 2-inch yellow strip on bottom indicates navigation aid has only ICW significance.
A dual-purpose navigation aid has lateral and ICW significance. Intracoastal waterway fictitious chart symbols. In this example, the dashed line indicates returning from sea.
Yellow squares, keep them to port. Yellow triangles, keep them to starboard.
Dual-purpose buoy, a buoy that has lateral and ICW significance. Other navigation aids. Ranges are non-lateral aids to navigation employing dual beacons which, when the structures appear to be in line, assist the mariner in maintaining a safe course.
The appropriate nautical chart must be consulted when using ranges to determine whether the range marks the centerline of the navigable channel and also what section of the range may be safely traversed.
Ranges typically display rectangular dayboards of various colors and are generally, but not always, lighted.
When lighted, ranges may display lights of any color.
You can use ranges to determine if you are left of range, on range, or right of range.
The aft range marker is behind and above the forward range marker.
You can use ranges in front of you or behind you. You can use ranges to determine your compass error. Similar to ranges, you can use offset landmarks as a danger bearing. Sectors of colored glass are placed in the lanterns of some lights in order to produce a system of light sectors of different colors.
In general, red sectors are used to mark shoals or to warn the mariner of other obstructions to navigation or of nearby land.
Such lights provide approximate bearing information, since observers may note the change of color as they cross the boundary between sectors.
These boundaries are indicated in the light list, column 8, and by dotted lines on charts. These bearings, as all bearings referring to lights, are given in true degrees from 000 degrees to 359 degrees, as observed from a vessel toward the light.
Aids to navigation may be enhanced by the use of radar beacons,
called raycons, and when triggered by a vessel's radar, will transmit a coded reply to the vessel's radar.
This reply serves to identify the raycon station by exhibiting a series of dots and dashes which appear on the radar display radially from the raycon.
This display will represent the approximate range and bearing to the raycon. The raycon signal itself is for identification purposes only.
Raycons are also used as bridge marks to mark the point of best passage.
All raycons operate in the marine X-band radars, also called the 9 GHz or 3 cm radars.
The beginning of the raycon presentation occurs about 50 yards beyond the raycon position and will persist for a number of revolutions of the radar antenna. Lighthouses are placed on shore or on marine sites, and most often do not show lateral markings. Lighthouses with no lateral significance usually exhibit a white light.
They assist mariners in determining their position or safe course, or warn of obstructions or dangers to navigation.
Sound signal is a generic term used to describe aids to navigation that produce an audible signal designed to assist the mariner in periods of reduced visibility.
These aids to navigation can be activated by several means, for example, manually, remotely, or fall detector.
The devices producing the sound, for example, diaphones, diaphragm horns, sirens, whistles, bells, and gongs determine tones.
Phase characteristics are defined by the signal's sound pattern, that is, the number of blasts and silent periods per minute and their durations.
Sound signals sounded from fixed structures generally produce a specific number of blasts and silent periods each minute when operating.
Buoy sound signals are generally activated by the motion of the sea and therefore do not emit a regular signal characteristic. It is common, in fact, for a buoy to produce no sound signal when seas are calm.
Lighting for bridges in U.S. waters. The Coast Guard prescribes certain combinations of fixed lights for bridges and structures extending over waterways.
In general, red lights are used to mark piers and supports, and green lights mark the center line of the navigable channel through a fixed bridge.
If there's more than one channel through the bridge, the preferred route is marked by 3 white lights placed vertically,
as shown by letter C on the fixed bridge example.
Lighting for bridges that lift or rotate. Red lights,
shown by letter D on the lift bridge example,
are also used on some lift bridges to indicate the lift is closed. And green lights,
shown by letter B,
to indicate that the lift is open to vessel traffic. Double opening swing bridges are lighted with 3 lanterns on top of the span structure,
so that when viewed from an approaching vessel the swing span when closed will display 3 red lights,
shown by letter F, and when open for navigation will display 2 green lights, shown by letter G. Clearance gauges are extremely valuable to vessel operators because they indicate the vertical distance, or clearance, between the low steel of the bridge channel span and the waterline.
They do not indicate the depth of water under the bridge.
These gauges are permanently fixed to the bridge pier or structure and located on the right side of the channel facing approaching vessels.
Each gauge is marked by black numbers and footmarks, or lines, on a white background board.
The picture to the right illustrates a clearance of approximately 7 feet 9 inches, since the 8-foot mark line is not visible. The marine navigator must assimilate all the navigational information to formulate their navigational situational awareness. The navigator must properly apply the nautical chart information. The navigator must properly apply the daytime visual navigational information. The navigator must properly apply the nighttime visual navigational information. The navigator must properly apply the electronic navigational information such as a chart plotter with a radar overlay. The navigator must properly apply the electronic navigational information such as a standalone radar. Again, the marine navigator must assimilate all the navigational information in order to safely navigate the vessel. Nautical charts and publications provide the navigator with needed information. There are various nautical publications the navigator and ship's master must use in the performance of their duties.
A few publications are discussed below.
The navigation rules are much like the rules of the road on the highway.
They establish a consistent way to navigate safely and avoid collisions when 2 boats are crossing paths, are on course to meet head-on, or when one boat wishes to overtake another.
The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration is responsible for providing nautical charts for most of the nation.
With a suite of over 1,000 charts encompassing the coasts of the U.S., the Great Lakes, and the U.S. territories.
Print-on-demand charts are equivalent to the traditional paper chart with 2 significant enhancements.
The print-on-demand charts are updated continuously with notice to mariner corrections, and are available 4 to 6 weeks prior to the traditional paper chart for new edition printings.
Print-on-demand charts are distributed by Oceanographics.
The National Geospatial Intelligence Agency, formerly NATSEA, is responsible for producing deep water and charts in foreign waters.
And the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers produces charts on the Mississippi River and other inland waterways. The chart catalog allows you to determine the correct chart via a graphic overlay. The National Geospatial Intelligence Agency Chart Number 1 publication shows symbols, abbreviations, and terms used on paper and electronic navigational charts, provides descriptions and depictions of 3 nautical chart symbology sets.
The 3 sets are 1. International 1, symbols specified by the International Hydrographic Organization. 2. U.S. symbols used on nautical charts published by the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration and the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency, when they differ from International 1 symbols. 3. Electronic Chart Display and Information Systems (ACDIS) symbols used to display electronic navigational chart data on ACDIS units as specified by the International Hydrographic Organization.
The U.S. Coast Guard Light List. This publication is often referred to as the Light List and comes in 5 volumes.
The Light List describes the lighthouses, lesser lights, buoys, and day beacons maintained in all navigable waters of the United States by the U.S. Coast Guard and various private agencies.
The light list is published about every 12 months, and any corrections or changes are posted in the Notice to Mariners. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration Coast Pilot consists of a series of nautical books that supplements the nautical charts. They include a variety of information essential to marine navigation such as
descriptions of ports and harbors, pilot information, general harbor regulations, quarantine and marine hospital information, Coast Guard stations, and more.
Pilot charts depict averages in prevailing winds and currents, air and sea temperatures, wave heights, ice limits, visibility, barometric pressure, and weather conditions at different times of the year.
The information used to compile these averages was obtained from oceanographic and meteorologic observations over many decades during the late 18th and 19th centuries.
This is an example of a pilot chart for the North Atlantic in January. Tide and tidal current publications provide tide and current predictions. There are 3 types of Notice to Mariners. 1. Broadcast Notice to Mariners are made by the Coast Guard on VHF-FM Channel 16 and 22 Alpha, and the NATSEA systems.
They report deficiencies and changes to navigation aids.
2. Local Notice to Mariners allows each Coast Guard district to disseminate navigation information for the United States, its territories, and possessions.
They report changes and discrepancies to navigation aids, and are essential to all navigators for the purposes of keeping charts, light lists, coast pilots, and other nautical publications up to date.
3. Weekly Notice to Mariners are published by the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency, and they advise mariners of important matters affecting navigational safety.
Because they are intended for use by ocean-going vessels, many corrections that affect small craft navigation and associated waters are not included.
For questions, please contact National Seafarers Academy by emailing info@natsea.com.
Thanks for watching.